Education. No matter our views on the nature or method of education that we believe is best for our children, I'm sure we can all agree that the gift of bringing up a child is cuck expensive. And to add to that, everyone is trying to get your premium with labeled education investments with T's and C's that will leave your child's education fund lacking if you don't understand what you're doing and what it actually takes to have an investment fund an entire education. How to plan for your kids' investment up next. Hey guys, welcome back to Money Talks with me, Nabeel Khan, where we get real in the conversation about money for you to build the right mindsets, habits, and education in your journey to financial freedom. Speaking of education, look, it's human nature. We all want what's best for our children, and one of the most important things in setting up our offspring is to give them a solid education, and that only happens one of two ways. As we imagined and planned for it, money-wise specifically, or through bursaries, free education. But those things come with some expectation and all sorts of other things. So before we get into the how-to, like every plan with money, the first step is to start as early as possible. Consider even starting to plan before the kid is even born. Here's why. Number one, like everything, the cost of education is going up every year. Currently, it's 9%. Number two, different schools cost different amounts. Number three, different products exist designed knowing that you want to save for an education, but may not be the most efficient things if you buy them without understanding them. So, how do you plan for your kids' education? Step one, decide what school you would like to send your child to. Is that public, private, international, Model C? And then research the fees of what it would cost today, because this will allow you to get as real as possible, as early as possible with yourself, what it would cost. If you can imagine paying for those fees today, you're creating an emotion and an expectation for yourself to have that money available at the time. Now you have a goal in sight. Step two, plant that data into an education calculator. If you type it in on Google, you'll find tons of education calculators. Basically, you plug in all the numbers and it pumps out a guideline number of what you need to be saving per month to achieve the goal. So here's an example. Grant decides that he wants to start saving from the day his baby was born into an account dedicated to school fees. His goal is to withdraw from the account to pay school fees up front for the year from the time his baby starts schooling at age 3, all the way through primary school, high school, and university without paying extra out of his pocket for tuition. He's found that fees from age 3 for his child will cost 36,000 Rand a year. Fees for a public primary school at the time will cost 63,000 Rand a year. Fees for high school, a public high school, at the time will cost 115,000 Rand, and fees for university at the time will cost 260,000 Rand for the year. Education inflation is assumed to be 9% every year. According to a calculator, he needs to start saving 3,035 Rand per month from the time his baby is born, with that contribution increasing every year at 10%, with a net return in the investment account of 8.5% per annum, to achieve his goal of his investment paying his child's school fees from the investment only. He plays around with the numbers a bit. If his investment starts funding fees from his child's age 5 with the same assumptions, the calculator works out that he can start saving 2,830 Rand per month, with the contribution increasing every year at 10% to achieve his goal, and that number is more affordable to Grant. Besides, he had some savings built up beforehand and was just planning for the worst case scenario. Yes, this is just for one child in public schooling. 2 years later, Grant and the family fall pregnant again. Oof. Now's the time you hit that like button in gratitude to your parents if you have an education. So, step 3, efficiency. Look, the math gets real very quickly, but after all of that, the real thing is actually how efficient is your plan? Where do you invest, or what product do you use? How efficient is your child's education plan with regards to its strategy in terms of return, including tax? Did you even get advice, or did you buy a product with the hopes that something magical was there to fund an entire education? I mean, it's your child's education, right? Well, the answer lies in many things, which you can begin to understand if you watch the investment series here on the channel. The How to Invest, 5 Things to Consider Before You Invest, and the 3-part series of Where to Invest. You'll get a better understanding because all sorts of things are at play here. And if you believe that there is one magical labeled education investment that will last you 20 years of education planning efficiently, no, there isn't. But there is a way to plan using certain investment vehicles at the right time for the right reasons so that your goal can be achieved efficiently. Go watch those videos and leave your comments below if you found this video helpful, and based on those comments, ask some more questions so that we can continue this education series for your children and your plans based on those comments. What we do here on the channel, guys, is to help you up your game with your money so that you can win in your journey to financial freedom, and at the same time help your children, your families up their game and win in their journeys as well. Smash that subscribe button and share this video to help one more person in their journey with money and life and children and education and all these things that are wonderful but overlooked sometimes. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.